All right, so an update because I am a recipient of SSDI, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I paid in. I paid in a fortune, working 96-hour weeks. Up until the time I got in my car accident. Actually, when I got in my car accident, I pulled off a 110-hour week and didn't sleep at all. Like I made videos right before the car accident, while I was at work, while I was in Seattle. I lived in California, I traveled to Seattle, I trained, and then I worked at night, and then I trained in the day, and I worked at night, and I trained, and then I drove back. And so I hadn't slept for a long time, and that was my routine. And so my checks were big, my contributions were also big. It's a percentage of your wages, and then your employer matches it. And so I'm not ashamed. I paid in. I'm not just some guy that jumped the border and started claiming benefits. I'm a worker. I'm a contributor. But when people see me like on my videos, or maybe they see me in person, maybe they don't realize just exactly how messed up I am. That maybe I look healthy, but why would he qualify for disability benefits? So beyond just my past, of working and getting more injured, like in 2024, I lost my finger at work trying to work because I'm unstable on a ladder, and I'm trying to wire in a security camera, and I've got my knife in my hand and I'm holding the camera with my other hand, and I slip off the ladder and cut my finger off. That was an injury right before I was at Walmart doing a wiring job, and in that job, after cutting off my finger just 2 weeks before, I fell off a ladder, fell 20 feet to the ground. The entire ceiling in the pharmacy of Walmart fell in on me. And so that was my second work-related accident in 2024. But then today, was it yesterday? Yesterday I was walking. I fell. I just was walking, just normal, and I lost absolutely all movement in my body and all strength, and I just gave out, and I collapsed flat on my face. And so I got this, and my eye is blackened. So I hit right there. My eye isn't as bruised as it was, or maybe it's just the light, but it was, well, you can probably see if I get in the light. See, it's not so bad there, but it's swollen and it's darker there. But beyond that, my toe is broken. I sliced it right to bits. My knee and everything is all swollen up. I hit my chest. It feels like I got hit with a slug in my chest. But it was cartoonish. It was comedic almost, because here I'm walking, and then it was just like boom. And I didn't stumble. I didn't try to catch myself. I didn't have any warning. I just hit flat on my face. And so, when it looks like I'm strong and healthy, yes, I was very strong when I got in my accident. I was running, 6 miles a night. I was working night shift, but I wasn't getting a lot of calls. So I worked at home. I worked night shift, and the calls came to my cell phone. I could redirect them to my cell phone. I had a VoIP phone from work, but I also had a cell phone that if I wanted to, I could switch the calls to my cell phone. And so I would go, I lived in French Gulch, California, and there's a gold mine. And so from my house to the gold mine, all the way to the top, where there was a mountain lion living, and it like pursued me several times, like it stalked me. But I would just go up to the top of this mountain where there was no lights, and it was like 2 a.m, and I would run back, and I would just truck it as much as I could. And then, I did push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. I tried to keep my body healthy. I'm still pretty fit for a 50-year-old man, a damn near 50-year-old man. I keep myself strong, but I am unstable. To do the work that I do, like wiring, like I'm saying, security cameras, data cabling, server rack and stack, getting on ladders, things like that. It's just not possible. It's not what I'm able to do anymore. And because of the pain, and you can kind of see where, from that car accident, I have all of this is metal. It's all titanium from my ankle to my knee. I have eight screws holding my ankle together, so it's basically fused. and then 7 screws holding the plates in. And this foot was broken, and then my rotator cuff, you can kind of still see the scar. I got it tattooed over. It went right, I had my brother's image tattooed on me right here, and the scar, it goes right through here. Yeah, you kind of can see it. Anyway, and it went right through my brother's face, who passed away in 2002. So I got this covered up while I've been here in the Philippines. And it's all wire. It's like fiber wire that holds my rotator cuff in and a bunch of pins. And so I don't have a lot of strength in that arm. I don't have hardly any strength in my ankle because I can't hold weight on my ankle because it's basically fused and it has all these screws holding it together. I got to cut my beard down. But anyway, that's my story. So thank God for Social Security. I'll say that now. But back in 2010, I made a video saying, just take it from me, but don't charge me for it anymore, because by all estimates, it shows that Social Security will end, it'll be exhausted, financially bankrupt, insolvent by 2033. And so why pay in if I'm not going to get any benefit out of it? So I was in my video on xcannabis.com or xcannabis.com, I believe, on YouTube is my channel. In 2010, I said, while I believe in it as a good safety net, and it's not an entitlement, it's not a welfare benefit, it's a insurance benefit. I mean, you pay in every month, and you get taxed, and your employer gets a tax, on your income for it, and they take a percentage, and you pay in, and then you get a payout if you need it, or when you turn a certain age. And so for me, I needed it for being disabled, not for reaching retirement age. And so thank God I have it. It's impossible to live in the United States. I can only go there and stay for a very short time. I stay here in the Philippines for long enough to save up and then go spend a month or two in the US. And then I come back, or I go to Thailand. But it's a mess. I can't afford to live in the U.S. It's just too much for me to sustain life there. I don't have a partner. I don't know if I'll ever have a partner. I probably won't. I'd probably rather just stay isolated. So I have to manage myself on paying rent and utilities and bills. Back when I was married, we used to get a stipend for my children. My wife and I, we would get from Social Security a little over $300 a month. I think it was like $330, something like that, a month for each child times 4. I could be wrong. It's something around $1,000. So maybe not quite $300 for each kid, but I think now that there's one that's not on Social Security, the benefits, because they turned 18, now the 3 get that $1,000, and now it has turned into $330 a month or something for each child. Roughly $1,000 or $1,100 a month, something like that. So, I really need to chop my beard down. I'm getting old here, I'm looking kind of shaggy. But that extra $1,000 plus my retirement benefits, that kind of got us by. That barely got us by. And then we'd get some little side jobs here and there, but it sustained life. But without that extra $1,000, and with only the $2,000 roughly that I get a month for disability, the only way to really make it last and continue to survive well is to be in a country like Thailand or the Philippines or Indonesia or Vietnam, one of those places, because the cost of living is extremely cheap compared to the US in those countries. So anyway, take it for what it is. Maybe that's advice for people who are in my situation. May not be, but that's a good system, and I hope we can preserve it. I'm glad that Trump, Elon, Doge, all them went after the waste, fraud, and abuse and kicked a bunch of people off Social Security, because it's almost about to be exhausted. It's almost about to be insolvent. And the only way to sustain it is to maximize the contributions and minimize the payouts, or it's going to be gone soon. So peace out. Check out Disruptarian.com. Just trying to build that and continuing to work on it. It's been going since 2015, and I just rebuilt the entire site, so have a look-see. Take care.